What's up everyone, Seth Miranda here. This is Adorama Rewind, and a bunch of stuff has happened this week. A ton of Fuji news. It's like they just poured it all over the week. But I'm just gonna go right into it. Ariana Grande is being sued by a photographer who's already sued her before for using his images on her Instagram without his permission. This time, however, it's beyond just using the image. She's actually using it to advertise her merch. She put a picture of herself wearing one of her sweatshirts and said, hey, swipe up to get a look at this, and it goes right to the link to buy the shirt itself. So if you're going to benefit from someone's images by selling a product using it, there's an issue. It's kind of crazy that whoever's in charge of her social doesn't realize that these lawsuits have already happened before with the same photographer. They should have been more aware of who shot it, the history of her legal issues in the past. So this is kind of crazy. I feel like every rewind we've been talking about another legal issue with image use in social media from a photographer. Let me know what you think about that down below. I think it's, come on, you're basically using an image for an ad. Publishing on Instagram is basically the same as publishing anywhere else, if not crazier, because it's directly in people's hands and they can swipe up and right there buy your merchandise. Sony is being affected by the coronavirus. They say they're not sure how it's going to impact their sensor production, but it's going to. So due to the coronavirus, they have actually taken the workers in China in the factory and given them a longer break for the Lunar New Year in response to the virus, and thus they can't assess how much time they're going to lose in production creating sensors. And that's not just for Sony users, it's for people that use Nikon and other cameras that use Sony sensors in their cameras. Even your phones have Sony sensors in them. There's only a handful of sensor manufacturers in the world, Sony being the largest. So this is kind of interesting. It's also, how big of a deal is this, because we don't know how much this delayed the production of sensors. So there's a lot to kind of figure out as the weeks go on. So once they get in those factories and they realize how much time they've lost, or exactly what they were trying to produce, what quotas they were trying to meet, all sorts of things, but they are totally aware that this is going to affect something somewhere in their production line. All right, let's talk about fact checking in the media. So with written word, there's always been a certain degree of filtering that goes on to actually make sure things are correct. Say what you will about whatever media source you pay attention to, whether things are factual or not, but there is a degree of trying to figure out what actually is fact and what is actually not in the written word. But in images, we haven't really had too much of a genuine 100% fact checker, and this company Jigsaw has decided to put out something called Assembler. And this is interesting. So if you go to the website, they actually explain it right here in this paragraph right here. What it's basically saying is that you can take an image, chuck it into this software, and not only does it just check for one thing, but almost everything that they can come up with that would be manipulated in an image. So it's not just looking for cloning. Oh, this is a composite. Oh, the pixels don't align here. It's looking for all of it, and it will continue to update itself as it learns about more manipulations out there. So this is kind of important. I think, we also have to realize, is this reliable? It's brand new, and we're relying on an AI to kind of tell us what the truth is. Think about that. But I think it's important that we're looking at this as far as the media goes, because anybody could write anything. How many times have you seen a celebrity and then a quote next to their face, and who knows if they even said that, let alone if an image has been doctored or not. So we're living in a crazy age where anybody can just manipulate an image on their phone, let alone professionally in Photoshop and put it out there. Let me know what you think about that. Are you a photojournalist? Do you think this is a really useful tool? Do you think we need it? I think we need it, but it's also, how much can we trust it is my question on that. Okay, let's just jump into the Fuji news. The first thing I'm going to jump into is Fujifilm is going to stop the 3-packs of Fuji Color 100 and Supriya Premium 400. This doesn't mean that they are going to stop the film itself. You can still buy it in the single rolls, but they're stopping the 3-packs, which is kind of an indicator that sales are slowing down. There's not as much demand. Kind of hurts me a little bit, because you do save some money on those 3-packs. So if you're somebody that's into shooting film, you have to support the stuff that's out there in order to keep having it being made. Oh, that was terrible English, I apologize. But you get what I'm saying. This is just a quick warning of what's coming as far as Fujifilm's production of film goes when they start breaking apart the value packs like that. So just be aware of that. All right, so another Fuji news, they released the X100V, but there was a bunch of crazy PR, social media stuff happening with that. They released a video. Fujifilm has one of their ambassadors go hit the street and use it in their style that they're used to, which is basically very aggressive. So this photographer right here goes, this is actually pretty tame, but what he's really known for is getting right into people's faces, and the video itself has been pulled. And in the video, you can see him going right at the people. I mean, mainly women, and they're within a few inches of their face, and they're ducking and they're putting their hands up, and you could tell that when they walk away, that their demeanor is shifted and they feel very violated somehow, or at least that's what it is projected by their mannerisms. And there's a big debate over whether that's ethical or tasteless. You know, we've seen street photography style like this for decades, seen books of it, and we've praised people for it, getting these like raw, in-your-face, captivating images of people right on the street, obviously candid, but it's very aggressive, and you could actually see them for a split second reacting to the photographer, and it sparks a debate of, well, what's the ethics of this? And as a street photographer, should you be an observant or a participant? And the comments went crazy. Fujifilm reacted. The video got pulled, and not only did they pull the video, but they actually pulled the photographer himself from the Fuji ambassador lineup. Kind of a big deal when you think about them trying to praise someone. They saw this video, they knew what they were putting out there, and they thought that this was actually okay or showed a certain photographer's creative process, and now it's kind of almost like a version of censorship if you think about it. I don't want to spark that debate, but I'm sure the comments are about to light up. Let me know what you think is it about ethics? I mean, legally you can take pictures of someone while they're in public, but do you really want to be that person that got someone's defenses up? Do you really want to be that person that left a mark on their day thinking about, well, where is that image going? Who is this guy that shot my photo? And there's other photographers that have this style. They actually brought up Bruce Gilden, who has a very aggressive style, but he's a New Yorker, been doing it since the 80s. And I think here in New York, there's a little bit more of a tolerance to this, but that's not an excuse at all. Let me know down below what you think about this whole debacle. I mean, it's a style of photography we've seen forever, and I guess now people are seeing how the sausage is being made, kind of. It's like, all right, but in some like upbeat news for Fujifilm, they're going to reveal the X-T4 on February 26th. Yeah, at the end of their X Summit London 2020, when they showed off the X100V. They were like, hey, one more thing, and they dropped this bombshell on us, which is pretty great. The X-T3 was a monster release for them. A lot of videos you see on Adorama TV are filmed with the X-T3, believe it or not. The X-T4, the rumors are flying, but I'm not going to say anything about what I think it is going to have or not going to have. Like I've said a million times on this channel, the rumors are like this hopeful thinking, which is super fun, but it's also just kind of like changes by the day, and I'm not into giving you guys false information or false hopes of what the technology could have. So we will find out later this month. I will be at WPPI when this happens, so hopefully I can get my hands on one and take a good look at it. But as far as the X100V goes, yeah, they totally released it. So this is the X100V. It's the next in line from the X100F. Key features, you have a 26.1 megapixel X-Trans sensor, 4K 30, which you didn't have in the 100F, not to mention articulating screen and all sorts of stuff. You can actually check out my video on this with my hands-on experience with it. I had a really great time shooting with this camera. Got to shoot some fun images of Natasha, and let me know what you think about that. Hit the video. Go leave me a comment. I'd be psyched to hear what you think about that camera. The X100F was so much fun. I have it in my bag all the time. And just so you guys are aware, it was the X100, the X100S for second, the X100T for third, X100F for fourth, X100V for fifth. So who knows what the X100 is going to be. Maybe it'll be like a hexagon or something. Who knows? All right, I'm going to leave it there. I wanted to give you guys another shout out of the week, and you should check out Brynne Levy Photo. This girl is slaying it. She does some really beautiful portraits, really trying to hone her lighting and get some really interesting looks out there. And she's also been pretty great in the community as well. I see her in the comments right here on Adorama TV, responding to people that are kind of like questioning things or have some sort of negative idea outlet, and she gets them to kind of open up their minds a little bit and think of more than one point of view. So I'm really grateful she's in the Adorama TV community, and thank you guys for being part of it as well. If you are going to be at WPPI in Las Vegas later this month, you can find me I will be teaching portraits on the go on the 24th and creative exposures on stage on the 25th. And if you just see me walking the floor, come say what's up. I love hearing from you guys. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave all of this right there. That was a lot of whoa. I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of controversy writing down the comments, from the Ariana Grande thing to the coronavirus versus the Sony sensors, and not to mention the street photography. What limit is there? When do we stop becoming an observer as a photographer and start becoming a participant, or do we ever become a participant? Should we keep our distance from the scenes and just document what's there, or does our interaction with subjects make a difference? There's a whole gamut, there's an infinite genres of photography out there, and I'm curious where you guys lie on that. Are you a street photographer? Do you like to not be seen? Are you kind of like a long lens creeper shot kind of person? No offense. Or do you really like to get up in people's faces? I think there's something to be said for a nice wide angle type of view, and you feel like you're there in the shot, but at the cost of someone's comfort level. I don't know. So write me down below. Let me know what you think about that. Hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this video around, blah, 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 blah. I'll see you guys next time. Later.